Good day. I'm Sister Lydia Gittens, a registered nurse at Stabilis Treatment Center. Our topic for today, Let's Talk Drugs, is by no means a comprehensive study on drugs, but more like a very short introduction. The devastating impact drugs can have on the mind, mood, and behavior of a user are heartbreaking to say the least. They impact the behavior, the mind, and the mood of the user. For example, let's look at the mind. There's a short-term memory problem. They will forget important dates, birthdays, appointments, anniversaries, that type of thing. The mood, where the person used to be relaxed, happy, they become moody, irritable, aggressive behavior. Where he or she used to be neat and tidy and things were important for them, they become fluffy and sloppy and almost a can't care less type of an attitude. In this short presentation, I want to focus on only two primary classes of drugs. Your central nervous stimulants, uppers or exciters, we're talking about something like crystal or cat. Your central nervous system depressant, suppressant, downers, something like alcohol or dachau. I often get asked the question, I suspect my sister, brother, niece, nephew, husband, wife, significant other is using drugs. Is there any way I can tell which drug or drugs they are using? A clue to this question's answer lies in the eyes. The eyes are not called the windows to the soul for nothing. Look at these three pair of eyes. Constricted pupils, red eyes, dilated pupils. Each one tells its own story. We start with the constricted pupils. The pupil is literally the size of a pinprick. This could indicate that the person might be using heroin, morphine, oxycodone, fentanyl, methadone, codeine, or hydrocodone. Following on from this are the red eyes. Here the person's eyes look almost inflamed as if they've got sinus or they've cried a lot, but it could indicate that they're using marijuana, cocaine or crack, benzodiazepines, Xanax, Valium, depressants like alcohol or sedatives. Lastly are the dilated pupils. This is where the pupil almost seems to fill the whole eye. This could indicate that he or she is using amphetamines, methamphetamine, crystal cat, hallucinogenics, LSD or magic mushrooms, your opioids, prescribed painkillers, something like morphine, marijuana, or speed. Before we move on, I would like to emphasize that all three pair of eyes, we're talking about the constricted pupils, the red eyes, and now the dilated pupils, could indicate drug usage if taken with a whole list of other signs and symptoms. On their own, they could indicate a variety of legitimate medical conditions. So please be aware of this. Those three pair of eyes don't necessarily mean your significant person in your life that you're worried about is using drugs. It could be something quite innocent, so please be aware of this. Having said that, let's look at some of the other signs and symptoms that we can look out for. At this stage, one of the big drugs, especially here in Pretoria, is crystal meth. It's also known as chalk, ice, speed. There are a few distinctive signs and symptoms you can look out for. A sudden spike in energy or that inability to sleep. They often can stay awake for 24, 48 and longer without sleeping, without even becoming tired. They just can't fall asleep. Excessive sweating. It's as if they're in the temperature of 52 degrees where it's actually 24 degrees. Chronic lack of appetite. They don't want to eat, can't eat, just don't become hungry. The trembling or twitching, especially in the face, side of the mouth or side of the face, it's as if the cheek is jumping up and down, or the side of the eyes jumpy the whole time. Obsessiveness and paranoia. They're convinced somebody's watching them, listening in on their phone calls, writing to them, being in the area where they are. Insomnia. They just can't fall asleep. Confusion and memory loss we were talking about a bit earlier. Deterioration of dental hygiene. This is an important one. They talk about the meth's mouth. Most common physical characteristics. What I was talking about is a mouth. The teeth are broken, they're rotten, many of them are missing, the gums are inflamed. You just know there's something wrong here. And then another big common one is these marks on the face, almost like very bad acne scarring or pock marks. See, right across the face, the marks are there. Especially with the ladies, it will be on the face, and with the men, it's often more on the arms or the upper torso or the legs. Cocaine, better known as crack or flake or rocks, have also got a few distinctive signs and symptoms you can look out for. Extreme irritability. These people are highly irritable. For the smallest thing, they just fly off the handle. Paranoia, that feeling that somebody is there, somebody's following them, somebody's listening to them. Just that feeling that there is just somebody there. Weight loss, vomiting, they can't eat, they can't keep food down. Dilated pupils or sensitivity to light. They will wear dark glasses 24/7, indoors, outdoors, or wear a hat very low over their eyes or a hoodie to try and cover their eyes. Muscle twitches, the arms and the legs as if they can't sit still. They have to move the whole time. Increased alertness, same with that paranoia. There's just somebody there. The person that is stopped right behind me stops with ease following me. Confusion, memory loss, hallucinations. They will have a whole conversation with somebody only they can see or hear. Your most common physical characteristics of a coke addict, look especially at the nose. It's almost as if they have sinus 24/7, 365 days of the year. The nose is inflamed, the septum is irritated. Often it's they have to sniffle the whole time. They've got almost like a runny nose most of the time when nobody else has got a cold or a flu or anything. Same with the skin, the pox marks are slightly less, but you can see the dark circles under the eyes, the swollen eyes, be a mark. Heroin, also known as Nyalpeto, horse with a capital H, have a few significant signs and symptoms. Look out for chronic dry mouth. This is a big one with them. They have to drink water the whole time or swallow. It's as if there's just not enough saliva to speak or to eat, to do anything. Warm, red or inflamed skin, something like almost like it looks like a bad sunburn in the middle of winter. Nausea or vomiting, constant scratching. This is a big mark of this. They will stand and just scratch their arms as if there are a million ants running under their skin that they try and get rid of. Confusion or decreased mental function. Somebody, for example, that has been excellent with maths will struggle to do your basic maths. 2 times 2 is 6. Depression, anxiety, their personality will literally change overnight from somebody that was happy, becomes moody, becomes aggressive, somebody that likes being with people, suddenly doesn't want anybody near them. Most common physical characteristics of a heroin addict. Look at the hands. Look at those marks on the hand where this person has scratched and scratched till those wounds where he has scratched have become inflamed. That constant scratching where I was talking about now, as if there's ants or permanent mosquitoes on the skin. The last sketch is somebody that has injected himself with heroin where the process of injection has literally become gangrene.